Okay, let's unpack this. If you're a global traveler, you definitely know that feeling, right? That moment of sheer dread. You land, switch off airplane mode, and boom, the big decision hits you. Do I really pay like $20 a day just to use my phone? Or do I spend the first hour of my trip probably jet-lagged trying to find some, sketchy data vendor at the airport? It's a pain. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the world of eSIM tech. We're looking specifically at the AloSIM app and how this whole digital shift is helping travelers like you, helping get rid of those international roaming fears, basically. Our mission here is pretty simple. Get you the essential info fast. How you can ditch the confusing physical SIM swaps, avoid those crazy high data costs, all using digital tech. And we're basing this on a really comprehensive guide we looked at for this service.
Yeah, and it really starts with understanding the core concept. What is an eSIM? The E stands for embedded. So think of it less like a card you pop in and out and more like a digital profile that's already built into your device, your smartphone, usually. The real magic is that it lets you activate cell plans purely through software, like downloading an app, but for your phone connection.
Okay, so no physical card anymore.
Exactly. And that immediately changes the game for travel, lets you bypass your home carrier, the ones who charge those huge roaming fees. It's a way to avoid those punitive charges that the big carriers often rely on. It's a game changer for international connectivity.
Right, it feels like the digital future finally catching up to solve a real travel headache. Speaking of solutions, let's focus on AloSIM. That's the service our source has really highlighted. It's an eSIM app, you mentioned the company, Affinity Click Inc., up in Canada, and it offers these prepaid mobile data plans for, over 200 countries? That's a lot.
It's pretty extensive coverage, yeah.
I really like thinking of it as the ultimate digital shortcut. Instead of scrambling at the airport for a physical SIM, you're buying these plans, which have different data amounts, different validity periods. You can do it from home, or even like while you're waiting at the gate before you fly. That prep factor alone must reduce travel stress quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely. The convenience is definitely the first thing people notice. But, we need to talk practicalities too. For an audience like ours doing a deep dive, the first question is always, is my phone even compatible?
Right. Good point. Does it work on everything?
Well, the sources are clear on this. Most newer flagship phones are good-to-go iPhones since the XS, recent Samsung Galaxy phones, Google Pixels. But yeah, checking compatibility is definitely step zero. Before you even download the app, you got to make sure your device is eSIM ready.
Okay, so check that first. Let's say it is compatible. What's next?
Once you've confirmed that, the process itself is designed to be pretty straightforward. Step 1, download the AloSIM app. Simple enough. Step 2, choose your plan and buy it. And this is where it gets interesting because you have options. You can get a plan just for, say, Japan. Or if you're backpacking through Europe, you might grab a regional plan that covers 35 countries all at once.
That's flexible. So step 3 is installing it. Let's pause here for a sec because, a 4-step process sounds easy, but installation, that sounds like it could be tricky if you're relying on Wi-Fi, maybe unstable airport Wi-Fi. Like if I'm on the plane, about to take off, and I download the eSIM profile, which I guess involves a QR code or something. What if I lose connection halfway through? Does the guide talk about potential failure points there, relying purely on digital setup?
That's a really important question, and that's why the timing matters. The guide really stresses installing the profile before you leave home or somewhere with solid Wi-Fi, even though the plan itself won't actually start working, won't activate, until you land and manually turn it on in your settings.
Okay, so you install it early, but activate later.
Exactly. And if there is an issue, AloSIM usually offers a couple of ways to install. QR code is common, but also maybe automatic download or even manual entry details. So there's some redundancy built in. What's fascinating here is that the digital profile just sits there, kind of dormant, on your phone, just waiting for you to flip the switch.
Got it. So it's ready to go.
Right. So step 4 is basically just landing, going into your phone settings, activating that AloSIM plan, and boom, you connect to a local network pretty much instantly. And that instant connection, that's huge. It means no time wasted searching for a SIM vendor, no messing with currency exchange for a SIM card, no standing in line. That stress relief alone is, it's worth a lot when you've just landed.
Definitely. And this is where the deep dive really pays off, moving past ease of use into the why, the money and the logistics. The big hesitation for international plans is always the cost, right? And the fear of getting that massive unexpected bill when you get home.
Oh, wait.
So let's talk about that financial aha moment. The source material hammers this point. Using a prepaid eSIM plan like AloSIM is often way cheaper than standard roaming. They give an example, right? Some plans starting as low as, what, $4.50 for a whole week of data?
Yeah, around that. And context here is crucial. Think about your regular carrier back home, one of the big US ones. You're often looking at maybe $15 a day for their international pass. And that might even throttle your speed or limit your data pretty strictly.
Right. Those daily passes add up incredibly fast.
They really do. AloSIM, on the other hand, it's purely prepaid. You buy a package up front. So let's do the quick math. A 7-day trip using your home carrier's plan. That could easily be $70, maybe over $100, just for basic maps and messaging. If you can get an AloSIM plan that covers your needs for that week for under, say, $10, you're potentially looking at a 90% saving.
Wow.
It's a massive difference, especially if you travel for longer periods or multiple times a year.
That is huge. Okay, so massive cost saving is clear. And building on that is the convenience you mentioned, which leads us to maybe the most critical feature, dual SIM capability. This sounds like the ultimate travel security blanket.
It really is. I'd say this feature is the true game changer that makes eSIM so much better than just swapping in a physical travel SIM.
How so?
Well, think about it. When you take out your home SIM and put in a foreign physical SIM, what happens to your regular phone number?
It goes dead, right? You can't get calls or text on it.
Exactly. But with dual SIM, which most modern eSIM-compatible phones have, you keep your physical home SIM card in the phone and active, so you can still receive important calls and, crucially, texts on your primary regular number.
Okay.
And then you set the AloSIM eSIM to handle all your data, your maps, your web browsing, social media apps, all that runs through the cheap eSIM data plan.
So you get the best of both worlds. Keep your number live, but use affordable data.
Precisely. This is so important. Think about getting those two-factor authentication codes from your bank via text, or an urgent call from family back home. You won't miss those just because you're trying to save money on data. The expensive data pipe is handled by the AloSIM plan, but your main line stays functional for critical communication.
That is peace of mind. I've definitely worried about missing a security text while using a foreign SIM. Dual SIM totally solves that. Honestly, keeping my main number working while traveling?
Yeah,
that feels like the real differentiator for me.
and there's another layer of security, too, beyond just connectivity, physical security.
Knowing.
Since the eSIM is just software, it's embedded. It can't be physically lost like a little plastic card. It can't be stolen separately from the phone or damaged if you drop it.
Right, you can't fumble it and drop it down a grade or something.
Exactly. Or if your phone itself gets lost or stolen, the eSIM profile is tied to that device digitally. It's not a physical chip someone can just pop out and potentially misuse. It stays within your phone's secure system.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've hit cost, convenience, and security. Those are the big traveler wins. Let's connect this back now to the company we mentioned, Affinity Click Inc., the Canadian outfit behind AloSIM.
Right, the parent company.
Because they're not just doing eSIM data, are they? They also developed that other app, Hushed, which is like a private phone number app. Lets you get temporary or secondary numbers.
That's right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, you start to see Affinity Click building out a whole global communication solution, not just a data pipe. The sources point out that AloSIM data plans are often bundled kind of strategically with the Hushed app, especially for people maybe traveling longer term.
Okay, why bundle them? What's the benefit there?
Well, think about when you travel. You need data, sure, but sometimes you actually need to make a local phone call, right? Maybe call a local taxi or book a restaurant or contact your Airbnb host. Using your expensive home number for those calls isn't ideal.
And just using data means relying only on messaging apps, which doesn't always work for local services.
Exactly. But the Hushed bundle tackles that.
Wow.
By bundling them, they often give the user a free international phone number through Hushed, specifically for making and receiving calls and texts locally or internationally at low rates. So suddenly you have a complete package. Affordable data via AloSIM, plus voice and text capability via Hushed, all managed digitally.
So it becomes a full communication tool, not just internet access.
Precisely. It really empowers the traveler to act more like a local, using local communication methods when needed, without the cost or hassle of getting a full local phone contract. It's a really smart combo for total connectivity.
Okay, so wrapping this up.
Yeah.
What does this all mean for you, the listener? Basically, it means the whole messy, expensive business of staying connected while traveling internationally. It just became a whole lot simpler and cheaper. Those days of dreading the roaming bill or fiddling with those tiny SIM card trays on a bumpy train ride, they seem to be, well, fading into the past pretty quickly.
Yeah, it feels like a real shift.
You should now have the essential info on how this eSIM tech, using AloSIM as a prime example, directly solves those common traveler headaches. It offers something that's secure, genuinely affordable, and just way more convenient than the old ways.
Absolutely. The source material we looked at really maps out this fundamental change. It's accelerating, too. We're moving away from relying on physical stuff controlled by carriers towards this embedded programmable software for connection. It's not just a niche trend anymore. It's really becoming the new standard for anyone who travels.
It definitely feels that way.
And this leads to a bigger thought, something for you, our listener, to consider. A provocative question, maybe.
Right.
If this core function, global data connectivity, is shifting completely to software like eSIMs, making the physical chip kind of unnecessary, at least for travelers, well, how long until that physical SIM card becomes totally obsolete, even for just, domestic use back home?
Huh. Yeah, good question.
It's a quiet little revolution happening right there in your pocket. Definitely a transition worth watching very closely.